Good afternoon. I'm Tennie McCarty. I'm the founder and one of the owners of Shades of Hope Treatment Center in Buffalo Gap, Texas. My youngest daughter and I own Shades. She's been with me as the business manager since the day that we opened. And it's an all-addiction treatment center with the primary focus on eating disorders and codependency. The reason that we treat all addictions is because if you don't get to the core pain and see what is driving the addiction, what we do is addicts will switch from one addiction to another. And so what we primarily treat is codependency, but of course if people come in with addictions, we do have to treat them at the same time. But we do have to, it's important to get to the core and work on the core issues. And so codependency, I could spend hours talking about codependency, but just a short little definition of codependency is getting our good feelings about ourselves outside ourselves and our bad feelings, getting our good and bad feelings from someone else. And it's like I grew up with an alcoholic mother, and then I swore I'd never marry an alcoholic, and I didn't. I married me two of them. And the last gentleman, we were married 51 years. And when he passed away, he had 32 years of sobriety. So we celebrated sobriety in our home for many, many years. In fact, I went into the addiction field before he ever sobered up. And I did that because I had already started my own healing path. And so in the early days as a child and a young teenager, I would look at my mother to see what kind of day we were going to have. And then I did that with my husband. I'd wake up of a morning, look over at the pillow next to me to see what kind of day we were going to have. When you use the word we, that is a lot about codependency, because if he had a good day, I'd have a good day. And if he didn't, I would be in the depths of despair if he had a bad day. So, and I did that with my children and just about anyone that came into my life. And so codependency is about really getting our good feelings about ourselves with others and our bad feelings. So there's two aspects of recovery that are the most essential to have on board. There's others, but you really can't get into good codependency recovery until you get these two things on board. And that is some healthy self-esteem and how to set healthy boundaries. Because people that do have a lot of codependency issues, really majority of them have self-esteem issues. So self-esteem issues helps having self-esteem is really about how you value yourself. How do you care about yourself? And regardless of what other people say about you, how do you feel about yourself, your abilities? And that's really what self-esteem is, regardless of whether people like what you're doing or whether you like. Now, you can take it to the extreme and become arrogant with it, so we're looking for a balance. But healthy self-esteem is made up of ourselves. It's self-esteem instead of other esteem. So it's an inside job. Now, if you have low self-esteem, which I did from a child up to through my young adult life, I had very low self-esteem. In fact, I could hardly say my name out in public. But through recovery, I began to learn I had worked with a group of Russians here that were in the United States many years ago to learn how to treat addictions, and I had the pleasure of working with them for a week. And I had a young woman there throughout. At the end of the week, what we treated them for was codependency. And what she said, that young Russian lady, taught me a lot. She said, through this week, I have taken a liking to myself. And that's what self-esteem is to take a liking to ourselves. And so our self-esteem is about brain chemistry. When you have spent a lifetime, if you have spent a lifetime listening to negativity from people on the outside, or you've made it up yourself. Now, a lot of the negativity that we have inside our brain, we make up. because of the things that we tell ourselves. Well, I'm too fat. Well, I'm not smart. Well, I'm not pretty. Well, I'm not. That comes out of your own brain, out of your own imagination. And so recovery, and to learn how to have some healthy self-esteem, is those tapes in your brain has got to change. No one can change them for you. Your mother, your dad, regardless. You've got to change that brain chemistry in your brain. Instead of living in the negativity, it's about going to something positive. For instance, I would say in the early days, well, I have low self-esteem, I don't have any self-confidence, I don't have this. But one time someone pointed out to me, a therapist pointed out to me, that every time I talked about self. And, that is self-centeredness. Even if I was thinking of myself less, I was still thinking about myself all the time. How, no one wanted to be around me, and, that's low self-esteem. So that brain chemistry can change. It's like the brain is like a computer. It's the most magnificent computer that God ever made. Garbage in, garbage out. Whatever you put in your brain, that's what you're going to have. So that's the good news. It's a fantastic problem to have because it's so solvable. If you're going to have a problem, have a low self-esteem problem, because you can do something about it. And one of the things is to change the story. Change your story about yourself. And how you change your story about yourself, you start believing positive things instead of the negative. And one of the things that we recommend, and that we do with our clients here at Shades, and most of them do not like it, they think it's silly, and until they do it and see the change. One of the things we have them to do, after every meal, they do affirmations. Now, with our eating disorder clients, it's really a lot about their bodies, because eating disorder clients live from the neck up and not the neck down. It's hard to embrace the body, and so affirmations will help people begin to embrace parts of their body that they don't like. And if you say it long enough, the brain will pick it up. It will start believing you. And so another thing that we have the clients to do while they're here is to make a list of 50 very short affirmations. Not anything real long, and not anything with, not like I won't be negative or so. It's nothing negative. No, I won't, or it's all positive. And very short, like I am beautiful, I am slim, I am successful, I am prosperous. Whether you are or not, put it in your brain, and what you put in there, you will manifest outside. And if you don't believe me, just try this. And I would say try it for a year, but we're going to start with 2 weeks. So I would encourage you to write 50 very short positive affirmations. And then every morning, well, actually, you stand in front of the mirror and look in the dark part of your eye, and you read off those 50 affirmations. Look at your list and look at yourself in the eye, back and forth. Keep doing that, and you do that 5 times a day. Now, you're going to say, oh, that is so long, I can't do that. It's very short. It doesn't take any time. And I want you to think of how much time your brain absorbs the negative. And so I believe you can give yourself this gift, this few minutes a day, to read 50 positive affirmations to yourself 5 times a day for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, and see what happens. And what I will make a promise to you. A promise, is a guarantee. Now, this didn't cost you anything, so I'm not going to give your money back if it doesn't work. But what a promise is, if you do this 50 affirmations 5 times a day for 2 weeks, I believe you'll see some results. And like I said, the brain is like a computer, and it will pick up that positive. And after a while, it will become like a working part of the mind and body. Now, if you really want to see a difference, keep doing it. Maybe do it for a whole month, 5 times a day, 50 affirmations, 5 times a day. Do it for a month. And then keep doing them. We have people that have been through treatment years ago that still say affirmations to themselves because they work. They work. That is something tangible that you can do. You can start it right now. If you want to change your concept of yourself and your self-esteem, try this little experiment. And I'd really like to hear from you. If it works, let me know. If it doesn't, let me know. And what I would say, if it doesn't work, keep doing it. I'll give you a personal, I got this when I was going through a trauma unit many years ago, I guess 34 years ago. I had had some abuse as a child, and I went through a 30-day program for trauma. And this was an assignment. It wasn't this much. It was a shorter version. But that's when I was introduced to affirmations. And I will tell you, it completely changed the concept I had about myself and my body. So I know for sure it works. And what I did is I wrote the affirmations down, and then I took a compact. Now, you men may have to do something else, some kind of little box or whatever, but I took a compact, took the powder out of it, folded that sheet of affirmations up to fit inside that little compact that had a mirror. And I don't care where I was, if I was sitting waiting on the kids for a basketball game, or if I was sitting in the doctor's office, whatever, I would read those affirmations to myself and look at the mirror. People don't care what you're doing. They don't want to even pay any attention to you, because most people, they're not really interested in us. They're more interested in themselves. So I challenge you to take some effort, particularly during this time. There's a lot of negativity in our world, a lot. You can turn on that TV and get enough negativity to load you down for a lifetime. So I want to challenge each of you to just use this little simple assignment, 50 affirmations 5 times a day in the dark part of your eye for 2 weeks. So it's very simple. Most things that bring about the healthiest changes are simple things like this. So I hope you'll try it. Let me know, and hope to visit with you next week. All right, healthy self-esteem. Thank you.